I was ready to surrender my heart to you, only you. These lights all around me keep blinding my eyes from you and the truth.
How you doing? Doing good? Okay. So, we're back here again, clearly, for more shenanigans. And for this week's video, I actually originally had a original idea. I was gonna do a Raven Queen, but the problem with that is I was making the headpiece yesterday. Oh, hello cat. Fluffy face. And I didn't like it. It was ugly. And I ended up trying to see if I can do the makeup without it. Didn't really look like what it was supposed to be intended, so I completely scrapped the idea. Thanks to my wonderful best friend, Christina. Hi, Christina. She told me to do a sugar skull, so that's what we're doing today. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're gonna do today. Completely different. It's going to be inspired by this lovely wig I have here. It may not look like, it may look purple, but there's like blue in it and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I have everything out in front of me, ready to get into this makeup. I was supposed to film this yesterday, but I did not charge either of my camera batteries, so that happened. And yeah, let's get started with the tutorial. But before that, I'm not asking, but it would be nice if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload my weekly shenanigans. And yeah, let's get to it. Hey guys, so right now I'm going to start the makeup off by doing a general outline of all these skull bits that I need. So I'm just taking a Wet n Wild white eyeliner pencil. Honestly, it's probably one of the best things I've ever bought. The pencil is like huge. Also, I will be kind of like a little all over the place with the video, only because I had to stop a lot of times because my cat was being a jerk. I love you, Venus, but you were being a jerk. And there was a couple of other things going on. Also, I was on a major time crunch because I literally filmed this before I was supposed to go to class that night, which was yesterday. So basically, once I draw all the skull bits I want, this, like I said before, this is not an anatomically correct skull. I wasn't going for that. I just kind of like the vibe I was going with the skull shape. So instead of doing traditional the traditional bones that are the shoulders, I thought to kind of more incorporate the Day of the Dead, because when I think of like sugar skulls and Day of the Dead, I know they always have such beautiful flowers. So I was like, oh, let me do the shoulder as flowers. So after I showed you how I did one flower, I did the other one off camera because there's no point in filming that part. I will be doing that quite a bit through this video just to give you a heads up, because literally there's no point in showing you the same process again. So I'm taking my white Mehron body paint and starting to fill in the skull bits. So I start up with my fake sternum. I think it's a sternum. Correct me down in the comments if it is a sternum. And then I'm going to go on with the ribs. So, yeah. Oh my god, you can see the whole nonsense which is on my table. Here I believe I was texting somebody. I think it was my best friend. Hi, Christina. So sometimes with white body paint, as you see from the first layer, it could be very streaky. So once the first layer is fully dry, and you must wait until it is fully dry, I go over it with a second layer And I'm drawing a blank. Good job, Talia. Once I put on the second layer, you can see the opacity go up much more. Now, I was going to use my NYX Jumbo pencil, but in the sharpener, the point broke and I was super pissed. So I was like, screw that. I'll use the pencil another time. Or my new one, whatever. So I took my Morphe Concealer in the shade White and I filled in all the neck pieces on my throat. Because with body paint, it smudges very easily, especially around my throat. I had to get up and go get something. I forgot what I needed the brush to put on the powder. So with creams, like I've said before, you must set them. So I set it with my Coty Airspun translucent powder. After that, I'm going to go into the skull parts on my arms, which are just the 2 arm bones, but also making sure I don't lose the shape of the petals that I put down by those bones. Now I'm going to fill in the shoulder bone part, which is the flower part. Yeah, I don't remember what that bit is called. So sorry if my lighting just went in and out. It got a little dark in my house. Now I do go back on my phone here and there because I was looking at reference photos. So now I am going to start painting the flowers. I am only going to show you one side, the other side will be done off camera. So right now I was trying to go for a blue, purple, but I didn't realize how many petals I had put on my shoulders. I went a little petal happy. Don't blame me. I really like drawing like flowers that are like this. I want to try roses, but I haven't reached there yet. I need to practice a little bit. So what I did was I started going in with the Mehron Paradise paint in blue. Why is my lighting doing that? Bro, that's annoying. And use the Mehron Paradise paint in mauve. Now I realized that some of the petals were kind of meshing in together, so I took my NYX Epic Ink eyeliner and I started to separate them. Then once I separated them, I went back in with the next layer, and so on and so forth. Just to make life a little bit easier. Man, I have to get a better mirror because like you can see everything from the other side of my mirror. There's my little table, there's some of my makeup. That is what, there are my lashes. That is super funny. But yeah, I would suggest when it comes down to this, just take your time. I usually try to, but I was also on a time crunch. I was actually originally going to ombre the flowers, but that would have tacked on literally a whole nother hour. So I was like, nope, we're not doing that. We're doing solid colors and then just shading them in. So now you see I'm just going in and refining some of those lines because sometimes with paint it messes up. So did the other side off camera like I said. Now I'm gonna go in and start shading. All the shading that I did in this entire video was done with one palette, which is the James Charles X Morphe Artistry palette. It's a very good palette in my opinion, and I also think it's great for doing stuff like makeups like these because it literally has like a color for everything. So I didn't have to go and grab like 2 or 3 palettes to use different colors. So I'm starting with, it was a medium tone blue, I would say, because the light one didn't really match the body paint well, and I'm just generally shading in the outline of the sternum, the beginning of the ribs, and adding a little bit of shading towards the mid/end of the ribs to give them a little bit more dimension so they don't look so flat. I don't like flat things. This is just me. Now, this is when I realized I may have let the setting powder set on the on my neck bone part a little, my spine, there you go, neck bone, good job Celia, a little too long, so it started to crumble. So I took the Mehron Paradise paint in white and literally just went over all of it so it didn't look crazy. But the one at the top, which is closest to the top of my neck, didn't really crumble, so I was able to use that. So now I'm going to shade in the shoulder bones just to give them a little bit of curvature, if you understand what I mean. And now I'm taking a different brush with the darker blue of the eyeshadow palette. I'm talking to my mom. Hi, Mom. Or it was Lisa. It doesn't matter. Hi, Lisa. And I'm just deepening up all of the original shading that I did to just further emphasize the dimension. I don't know. I like a lot of dimension in my looks. Like, shading is my bread and butter. I love shading. I love detailing. I love line work. It just is everything, in my opinion. And now that the paint has dried on my neck, I'm going to shade in my neck. When I tend to do ones that involve the spine, to make it look like the spine is curved, I do the outer parts of the neck, but I don't go fully to like the square or rectangle or whatever you want to call it. I can't shapes right now. To make it look like it's curved. It doesn't make it look flat. This is just how I've done it. I'm sorry. So now I know I'm going to start going in with black, so just so I don't mess up any of the lines, I'm going to go in with my NYX Epic ink liner to just outline everything that I need to. Now I'm taking the Mehron Paradise paint in black, and I'm literally going to paint all the space that you see of my regular skin tone. Why is the lighting so weird? Oh my god. That's really annoying. I've never had a problem with that. Whatever. I'll fix it next time. And basically, yeah, I'm just filling in everything that needs to be filled in black. So any part where you see skin tone on my chest, not my face yet, I fill in black. And as you see, I have to go in at weird angles because around towards that part of my arms, both my left and right side, it is a bit of a blind spot for me. I can't really see the greatest from my glasses because that's a part of my glasses where I can't see. But do you see how much of a difference it makes when you just like black out everything? Just like, ooh, I'm a skull now. Well, not a full skull, but you get my point. Oh god. Now, to explain the bottom ribs, the two bottom ones by my tube top, I didn't want to paint them all the way out because they looked weird when I originally drew it in. And yeah, I just didn't want it, so I kind of stopped it there. And yeah, that's the best way I can do. So I'm going to start shading in the flowers, and as you see, I tried two different types of eyeshadow and I wasn't vibing with the way it looked at all. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back into the James Charles palette and I'm just gonna take that deep dark like eggplanty purple and just shade in all the purple flowers, and take that same dark blue that I used to deepen up the skull on my neck, sternum, and ribs, not neck, spine, and shade in all the blue petals. And as you see from me shading them in, it really makes a big difference. So off camera, while I had to wait for my camera battery to charge because they both died, I added some highlights to the flowers, just a simple little white line just to make things easier. I did my brows off camera because you know how my brows are. Now I took the same Morphe Concealer and slapped it all over my face. Took a beauty blender, one from Wet n Wild. It's really good and super cheap. Like, I really like it, and they clean so easy. And slapped it on my face. Now I was gonna take this weird cream highlight and try to see if I can add it to the cream. Yeah, it started separating, so that was a fat no. So now I'm going to set my face with the same Coty Airspun powder. I took the brush and really stamped it on. Took my Wet n Wild matte finishing spray and sprayed it. So now I'm going to start with my eyes. Usually I would prime my eyes with my amazing P. Louise base, but because I didn't set my eyes, I was like, okay, I can use this and it's white, so the eyeshadow is gonna come out opaque anyway. So I'm taking that same medium tone blue. I don't know the name of the shade. I'm not gonna go in the palette and look for it. And I'm just going to blend that up to my natural crease. Then take the Sugarpill single pressed eyeshadow in the color Poison Plum, one of my favorite purple eyeshadows, and smoke that out at the top. And here's where I'm trying to contemplate what exactly I want to do for my face, because I didn't have 100% idea what I wanted to do with the sugar skull part. Like, I knew what the teeth were gonna look like, but I know when it comes down to sugar skulls, there's more stuff to it. So off camera, I finished my eyes. I added a liquid eyeshadow kind of topper color from Wet n Wild. I don't remember the color. And I colored in my nose, and then I started to contour with the blush, but you'll see later on I change it because I don't know, I didn't like the way the contour was. It wasn't dark enough. So now I'm going to start off with the skull lips. Now I know you can't see it, and there will be points where you can. I am sorry, I can't see without my glasses. So I have to like really get up and personal with the my mirror. This is why I need to get a stand mirror so this isn't a problem. I'm probably also running out of eyeliner too, because all the line work done in this makeup was done with that eyeliner. So for the skull lips, I put on lipstick because it's supposed to be kind of like a beauty type of one. And now I'm starting to add in the skull bits. Like, I first did the outline and then I like connected it so it looked more round instead of like flat and square. Excuse me, pardon me. Now I added a few little dots to the bottom of my chin. I was going to put something on my forehead with the liner, but instead I was like, you know what, I'm going to add the jewels thingy to my liner. Looking at the reference picture again, I noticed there was curvature around the eyes to give it that kind of scully aspect. So I do end up covering my brows. There was no point in me doing brows, but it's fine. Stuck on the jewel piece with just some eyelash glue, and as you see, this is where I start to add a little bit more of a skull aspect and completely cover that contour because I didn't like it. Like, you can see it, but you couldn't see it. So I used the Sugarpill eyeshadow to lightly sketch in the shape that I want after I added the eyeliner, and then I went in to deepen it with that dark purple from the James Charles palette. I was going to add the under eyes, but I was like, nope, I'm going to add something different. Added a few little lines to just emphasize the more skull bit, and just drew on 3 little dots under my eye. Add more skull aspect to my forehead. There you go. Now it's time for my favorite part, which is the lashes. These have blue at the end, so while my lash glue is waiting, added some Supreme Frost from Jeffree Stars on my lips. And now I'm gonna slap on my lashes. This lash for some reason was giving me a problem. I don't know why, it was just being a jerk. So while I'm waiting for the other one to go on, I'm just gonna put on the wig. Going to fix my top because it kept falling off, and then you don't want to see my skin, honestly. And yeah, that's everything. Bye.